She wished for freedom, but something else escaped instead. And the boy who loved her would soon discover that some wishes don't just change lives, they rewrite reality itself. Somewhere beyond the boundaries of the real world, Nikki was trapped in a nightmare realm. She was screaming, reaching toward a glowing doorway that kept fading further away. She could feel something watching her, something wearing her face, living her life. Back in the real world, Bear had no idea what horror was beginning to unfold. For years, Bear had loved Nikki in silence. She was his co-worker, his closest friend, and the one person he could never confess his feelings to. Nikki saw him as just a friend. And that silence slowly became obsession. Even when they spent time together with their friend group, Ian and Sarah included, Bear could only think of her. But Sarah noticed. She always noticed the way he looked at Nikki. Like he was slowly disappearing into her shadow. One night, after another painful gathering where Nikki laughed freely with everyone but him, Bear snapped inwardly. Instead of speaking the truth, he searched for something else. Something unnatural. That night, he walked alone through rain-soaked streets until he found a strange occult shop hidden between broken buildings. Inside, the air felt wrong, heavy, alive. The shopkeeper didn't ask questions. He simply watched Bear. Like he already knew what he wanted. There, Bear saw it. A twisted wooden charm known as the One-Wish Willow. He was warned, every wish had a cost. But love had already blinded him. And so he made the wish. That Nikki would love him more than anyone in the entire world. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality shifted. Far away, Nikki suddenly stopped. Something inside her mind broke. Her consciousness was ripped away, dragged into darkness. Into a hellish void where she could only scream. And in her place, something else woke up. The Nikki that returned was not the same. She smiled too wide. She stared too long. And she never blinked like a normal human being again. But to Bear, she seemed perfect. She called him constantly. She wanted to be near him all the time. She even appeared at his door without warning, smiling like she had always belonged there. At first, Bear felt like his dream had come true. But soon, he noticed the cracks. She would freeze mid-conversation. Her eyes would go empty. Then suddenly, she would snap back with unnatural affection. Watching him. Always watching. Sarah confronted Bear, warning him that something was wrong. But he refused to listen. Because deep down, he was afraid of losing her again. Then things got worse. Nikki's behavior became disturbing, unstable, violent. And somewhere else, the real Nikki was still trapped in darkness, surrounded by whispering shadows that tried to consume her identity. One night, Bear's pet cat went missing. He searched everywhere. But Nikki only watched him, silently, smiling. Then came the dinner. She cooked for him lovingly, almost too lovingly. She insisted he eat. And against his growing fear, he did. Until he found the collar. His cat's collar. The realization hit him like a collapse of reality. What he had just eaten was not food. It was a message. A warning. A confession of something deeply wrong. Nikki didn't react like a normal person would. She only smiled wider, and whispered that she loved him more than anything. That was when Bear finally understood. This was not love. This was possession. And it was growing more violent every day. The house began to feel like a prison. Nikki would appear behind him without sound. She would stand over him while he slept. And when he tried to pull away, her behavior turned dangerous. Still, Bear couldn't bring himself to end it. Because part of him still wanted to believe she loved him. But the truth was already breaking through. The real Nikki was still alive, trapped in a collapsing dark realm. Fighting to return. And the fake Nikki was becoming less human every day. Finally, Bear returned to the occult shop. He demanded answers. And the truth was revealed. The wish had not created love. It had replaced Nikki with a manifestation of obsession itself. A thing that only understood possession, not affection. And the only way to undo it was to confront it directly. At last, Bear was forced to face what he had created. In a final collapse of reality, the false Nikki revealed her true form. Something not human, something born from desire twisted into horror. As everything fell apart, the real Nikki began to break free from the darkness. She ran toward the only light left in existence. A glowing doorway. Her escape. And when the curse finally shattered, she stepped back into reality. But nothing would ever be the same. Bear stood in silence as she looked at him, not with love, but with distance. Because what he had done could not be undone. He had gotten exactly what he wished for. And lost everything that mattered in return. Because real love cannot be forced. And some obsessions create horrors far worse than death.